to the videos on tuning up your bikes. In this video I'm going to show you how to check your brakes before going out. Also how to change the brake pads if need be, and to reinstall them and set them correctly. So there it is. We'll just do a quick video on this so that everybody that's watching knows how to do it. Yeah, here in France, I moved here for a while and don't have a bike stand or anything to hang it up on. So, you know, we're going to go back to the old-fashioned way. We used to take the bike bar in the front here and just flip her upside down. There you go, upside down. And we'll do the maintenance on it that way around. So you can see it all. So let's get to changing the brake pad. So there's the brake pad nicely lined up. The one, let's say we're going to change this brake pad here. So the first thing we have to do is release these blocks. Now on the mountain bike, quite a few of them, they have these quick release parts here. See, there you go. It clips out of that cup there, and the brakes open up. That's number one. So your brakes are open. So now we can come back here and look at it from this side. Right? Now you have room here between this and this to take your pads out, or you can just, you know, unlock your wheel. The wheel out, pull this out, loosen it off, loosen the other little nut off a bit. And out she goes. There we go, wheel out. Take your wheel out of the way, right? And now you've got total freedom here to get this brake pad out. So here's the brake pad here, and there's the bolt going right through. Allen key in, crack it, loosen her out. Let's take this down so you can see better. You just loosen this off, and you know, keep your threads and that in the same position as they were. There's a couple of nuts and bolts. Washers, keep them all lined up so you know which way they go. Alright. There you have it. And there is the brake block. Now you want to take these washers off and put them on your new brake block. Alright? If you can see that there, you take these washers off. Right? Now you go get your new brake block. This is a fairly good brake block still. And you go put them back in. Washers the same way. And if you're having problems with the washers, take a cell phone picture. Right? Right? That's all you got to do. That in. Washer on. I think a beer washer. Half round in. Copy the other side if you get stuck. Right? Which I'm doing. See, this half round has to come up. Right? And that half round goes in. Washer, and the nut, and there we are. We have our new one in. Now we'll leave it loose until we get our wheel in. So let me just get the wheel in. Wheel in. You drop the two into the both sides. There we go, between the two brakes. Screw in, and the nut on the other side a little bit. And then you want this lock up to go away from the steering backwards and lock like this. Now, all you want to do when you're locking up, before you lock up, is to make sure that your wheel is centered. So this is how you lock it, pushing this back. All right? Now, if we pan down, see here? You want the distance on both sides of this rim here to be exactly the same. I get the camera a little over this way. There. This distance to the bar and the distance on this side to the bar to the rim should be identical so that it's dead center for your brakes. So it shouldn't be one side or the other, it should be in the center. Eyeballed about there really nicely. Lock it. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and we'll get back to the brake now. Now I put the pad away up, this pad, the new one, away up out of the way here. So we can just put back in this quick release over here. Okay? What I call a quick release. Just to open up the brakes, and we're going to pull that back in here. This is a little bit of a strange design for me. There it is. That's all it is, really. There she goes. She's clipped in now. Now our brakes are fairly back in there. Now all we have to do is pivot this around and adjust this pad right here. Now I'll put it in the light. It has a little bit of a half circle in it already, the pad. So you want that half circle to be going with the wheel on these new bikes. The old ones were straight, 70s and 60s. Now you want that to land on that rim. So when you press, you don't want it to go up and you don't want it to go down. So you want it to press, and you want it to press evenly, just there, like that. Let's see if it hits. Very nice. It looks pretty straight. Just a wee bit. Wheel is free spinning, right? Wheel is free spinning and chomp. Very nice, right? Make sure it's locked hard. Ooh. Make sure this is locked up hard so it doesn't go anywhere. That's perfect, right? See, the other one's kind of a little on the crooked side, and I'm not too sure why. It might have been moved or switched, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so there you are. That's how you change your brake blocks. Now, this is just a little stopper here for this thing, for opening or closing, one or the other, but I don't really adjust these because there's no need to. Once you have a lovely spinning wheel like that, and you have this, right? You have good brake action, you've got it. That's your bike and your block changed. Yeah, so we have a vintage bike here. It's around the 1970 something, 1975 Apollo or something. And basically, you know, sometimes you can take the wheels off, but on these old bikes, you don't always have to take the wheel off. You take an adjustable wrench, put it on here. Now this block doesn't really need changing. I'm doing it for the purpose of the video. And I'll take that down so you can see. I'm just unscrewing this with my fingers. Washer, nut, washer, pad. Take it off, bring in your new one. You can buy in most bike shops. A couple of cents, maybe €1 or something. And you start putting it on here. I went into a bike shop the last day for a spoke, and he said, you might as well buy a new wheel for €30. And I'm like, what? Spoke's only like 50 cents or something. And he went, oh yeah, but labor. And I said, no, I'll put it on myself. Because I had 2 in the front and 2 in the back. That's €60. You know, if you have one more, you might as well buy a new bike. It's the labor that costs though. He was being nice about it, so you get what I mean? But it's all the labor nowadays, see? See, that pad's too high at the moment. It curves in a little when we'll give it a little tappy. Now I think this should be the other way because of the arrow on it. There we go. Oh, forward, okay. That's forward, there we go. Little arrow on here that says forward. And you know, there, see, it's off the rim, up a bit high when you actually push it, but when you eye it, it looks okay. I'm pushing it with my foot. There you go. Now that's quite nice. And I'm just going to tighten that there. And give them a fairly good tight. You don't want them moving. If you ever have a very vintage bike and it has an opening in the back here, always make sure you put the opening so when you brake, that opening's not in front here. Otherwise the pad pops out. That's one of those old things that was a problem, you know, in the olden days. They actually literally could pop out of your, oh, sorry, did a little slip talking. Yeah, the French music's going. So there we go. There's your block in. It's looking good. Now just one other tip is, on some of these tires they had these pixelation pieces. I'm going to show you one right now. If I can highlight it. It's right here. See this? There. And you're biking along and you hear this tick, 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 tick. Sometimes these pixelation pieces hit, are very low here and hit the bottom of this base here. And you're wondering why your bicycle's clear of the brakes but making a tick, 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 tick. And it can be those rubber pixelations sticking out in your tire right here on the rim, which I had the last day. And I was like, what in the world is that? And you know, my tire is old, but the pixelations are like sticking away out still. So there you go. Right? Right, perfect. Don't make your front brakes too tight. So you go over the handlebars, make them a little bit softer than the back. Make the back ones the firm, strong braking, and practice braking with your back brake and doing it lighter with your front brake. So get used to that. So there we are. That's the other bike done. So that's how you change your brakes. Yeah, so your brakes are still loose, too loose. And you put in the clamp back in, you know, the release clamp, and make sure that's in properly. Now they're still too loose. What you do is you go up to your steering up here, to your leverage for your brake, which is the front brake, which is left side. You screw this all the way in nearly. You can leave the lock nut loose. Then you go back down and you tighten this cable down here. This cable here, sorry. You tighten the cable coming in. You pull it tight and you leave just a gap like 1/8 of an inch or a little bit less. So you press your calipers together by putting your hand through here. Press your calipers together and you tighten the wire back up. And you'll let go and you'll have a little bit of spaces, right? And that's good, have a little bit of a space. And then you come back up to your steering wheel after you've tightened and you adjust here for whatever you want. So the more you bring it out, the more the leverage goes in, right? Which I can show there by pulling it. The more you go out, I'll just show you down here quickly. The more you put that out, the more it tightens, as you can see. So the more you screw it out. So that's the fine adjustment right here. So you just screw this out, and when you get it freewheeling, see that's not freewheeling, right? So I've got mine pretty close to tight here, right? To the bottom. There she goes, freewheeling. Oh, can you see that? There she is, freewheeling. All right. And then you come back up here and you lock your nut. And your bike's ready to go. So there you go. That's how you fix your brakes up. You know, that's how you change a brake pad in the front wheel. And basically, just before you go biking, always check your brakes. Yeah, always check your brakes before you go biking. Make sure the brake pads are on the silver rim. Your quick release isn't disengaged still, that it's properly engaged so the brakes are all the way in. Push your bike a little forward and give it a quick brake to see that it's working. And you know, when you're spinning down the road, check the front brake isn't too solid and the back brake is pretty solid so that you're fine, and away you go. So basically that's the brake systems. The vintage brake for adjusting is the cable and a screw up top as well. So it's the same for the vintage bike as the mountain bike or as the racing bike, which my Apollo used to be. So I hope this helps you with your bike maintenance, and keep on biking. Cheers.